Yo, welcome to today's challenge. So today we'll be working with the wide world importers data warehouse database, and we'll be working on the fact table. So personally, I don't have this database on my system, so I'm just going to take you through how I'll download and restore the database, just in case you also don't have it on your system. So follow me as we do that. So this is where you're going to download the database from. I'll also be downloading it from here. So I'll be downloading the second one, the one that has the wide world importers DW full backup. I'll click on download and the download should start immediately. And another place you can find relevant information about the database is here. I'm going to add a link to the description. So you'll find more information about the database. This is an overview of the fictitious company, wide world importers, and the workflows that are addressed in the Wireworld importer sample database for SQL Server and Azure. So every information you need about the database is found here. You can come here to read about it, right? So you don't have to stress yourself. I believe every information you need is found here. So what we need to do now is to restore this database. So for example, I can do that here. So if you have the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio installed, all you have to do is to come here and restore the database. So you need to put it in the backup folder. Then another option you have is to use Azure, Azure Data Studio. Yeah, yeah, cancel this. So I prefer the interface for Azure Data Studio. So I'm using it. If you don't have this, you can use the SQL Management Studio. I'll just show you how this works. So what you can do is if you come here and click on manage, you'll be given a list of options. So we have new query, new notebook, restore. So what we want to do right now is to restore a database. And we're not restoring it from a database, we are restoring it from a backup file, right? Now we'll be asked for the location of the file. So if you click here, you'll see it's giving you this is based on the path I've selected before, and this is where you're supposed to put the backup file that we just downloaded. So you go to program files, Microsoft SQL Server through this path. For you, it may be a bit different, but for my own file, this is the way it is, and it should be easy to find. Program files, you should see this exactly. Maybe MS-15 may be different for you. Then you go to MS SQL, then the backup. What I'll do now is go to downloads. So this is a file I just downloaded. I'm going to copy this. So I'll go to my C drive, go to program files. And now I have to go to Microsoft SQL Server. Here, go to backup and do this, paste it here, right? If I like, I think I can just rename this to take away the full. DW. Yep. So I don't think I need the full. So this is fine. So I can just copy the name, full name, copy it and paste it here. So you see I have the file. I can just click on OK. So to make sure that you can also do it on your end, if this is the only SQL Server Management Studio you have installed, you can come here, click on Restore Database. Remember, we've already copied it to that location, so we can also access it from here. So you click on, the media type is a file, right? Not a URL. you click on add, and you see we have this here. I can just click on backup. So any of the two works fine. If I click on OK, I can just go on from here. Or if I have this here, I can just click on OK. I have database, description, database, nothing serious. I'll just click on restore. If I click on restore, the expectation is that when the restoration is done, because presently it's still in progress, when the restoration is done, I should be able to see it here. So let's wait and see. Great. So restoration is done. So if I should come here, so I see wide world importers DW, right? So let's see this. So now I have access to my tables. I can query any of the tables. Let's say top 1000. Let's go to fact order, for example. Fact order. Yep. So we see the first 1000 record. So that's super easy. No stress. So even if you go back to this, let me cancel this. If you go back here, you see that we should have that here. Let me just refresh. Wide world importers DW. So we have that here as well. That's super easy. We're done with that. I can just close this. Save changes. No. Great. Close this. And now we have to go back to our slide. We have to go back to our slide and know which table we're going to use. All right. We've been able to restore the data base. Now we'll go back to our slide and just follow the instructions and know what we have to do. So what we have to do here is to select the order key, the description where the modulo of the description length divided by 10 is equal to 1. So we're using the fact order table. And for the benefit of doubt, if you're hearing of modulo for the first time, let me just show you what it means. So let's just open modulo. So it's a matter operation that finds the remainder when one integer is divided by another integer. Super simple. So if you're dividing an integer by another one, the remainder is your modulo, right? If the modulo is 0, the modulo could be 1. So you should just focus on that. The result you're looking at is the remainder. Nothing serious actually. So the modulo operation, remember when, for example, 5 mod 3 is equal to 2, because by the time you divide 5 by 3, you have 1 remainder 2, right? 2 is a remainder. That is your modulo. So let's do that in Power BI, right? Using Power Query. So just keep in mind, the focus is on the remainder. Yeah, Power BI is here. So we're going to be using a new file for this, because we've been working with a different database from the start. So for this one now, we're going to be using a different file since the database is different. I'll go to recent sources. Worldwide trade, wide world importers. So we are interested in the fact order table. Click on transform. Click on import. So based on the instruction, we are to select the order key and the description. Just make sure I didn't mix that up. Order key and description. Choose columns. Order key and description. That's great. We are going to duplicate, I'll duplicate this column. So this is copy of description. Let me be sure that query fold is still happening. Yes. So this is great. Oh, sorry. Yep. So this is great. What I have to do next is to find the length of each description here. So I'll right click and go to length. Now I have the length, and what I have to do next is to find the modulo for each of the value here. So I'll go to, what's there before? Standard modulo divide by 10. Let's be sure that query folding is still happening. Yep, so this is happening fine. Great. So I have to filter for where this is equal to 1. Yep, query folding is still happening. Awesome. Now I can remove this column and I have the order key and description, which is exactly what we need. Order key, description. We've made sure that this, and we've made sure that the modulo is equal to 1. Awesome. So we've been able to solve this problem. I think problem would arise when you start trying to add columns, because I tried adding new columns to solve that problem, but that didn't work. But if you just duplicate the column and transform the column you've duplicated, then you won't run into issues. So we've been able to solve today's problem. Thank you for everyone who has been following along. See you tomorrow.